Today we're going to make a coffin out of pine, and this is a hexagonal shaped coffin, kind of like the old traditional ones, also known as toe pinchers. And we're using blue stain pine, which is the beetle kill wood, so it's got a kind of a nice bluish pattern to it. We're going to cut the glue ups that we made down to 15 inches on the table saw. We're going to cut 6 sides with this, and each one has different angles. We've got the 6 boards laid out here for our sides, and before we assemble them, I'm going to use this angle grinder to just kind of take down some of the bigger ridges and stuff. We've cut these little corner brackets for each of the 6 corners of this coffin, and you can see we've got different angles for each one. It's easier if you have a helper, like my brother here. And so what we're going to do, just again use a little wood glue. So now that we have this tacked together, I'm going to go through and put some screws into it. And the first thing I'm going to do, I've got this countersink bit, and I'm going to go so I can go directly from one side into another board with a screw, and that will tighten those up. And then on these, at the shoulders, I'm going to put some pretty angled countersinks in. So the next thing I'm going to do is just get some, just with a regular drill bit, is just pre-drill some holes from the inside to get the brackets screwed into the sides. So I'm going to do 3 holes on each side. So in each corner we've got 3 screws that go directly from one side into the other. So these screws go right into this board. Those are 1 5/8" screws. And then on the inside of each bracket you can see we've got 3 screws that go into one of the sides. So 1, 2, 3. Those screws are 1 1/4", so they don't go all the way through and out the other side. And then 2 screws here that are 2-inch screws that go into the end here. And then at the shoulders, I just did 6 1 1/4" screws. And again, these are drywall screws. And then I stop about 1 inch or 1 1/2 inches short of what will be the top, 1 5/8" screw. 2 going from this side into the long side, and 1 going from the long side into that side. So the next thing we're going to do here is make our plugs, and these are going to plug these holes. So you just find a plug cutter that is the same size as the countersink, and just put a couple pieces of the same kind of wood here, and then I can actually cut this with a utility knife and get 2 or 3 plugs out of each one. Now that I've got these plugs cut, I'm just going to put a little glue on each one and just put it in the hole. Put those guys in. And then we do have these little gaps here, and one of the things we found that works pretty well is just Grabbing a little bit of sawdust and this same wood glue. Get some glue in the gap, okay, and then just put some of the sawdust with the glue in there and trace along these. This is the easiest way to get this because there's a little variability in the exact shape of this, so now we're ready for the moment of truth here. Get this bottom on, and I'm just going to put a line of wood glue on here first. So you can see I've got the plugs in, we've got the bottom on, and looking a little rough at the moment, but we'll get this all sanded down. Next thing we got here are the feet, and I just make them out of about 1x3, and these will go on here and they'll provide a little more stability. And we put these on for the rollers in a hearse, so it doesn't bump between these feet. It can just be smoothly rolled. For the lid on the inside, we're going to put these little brackets which just add a little strength and stability to the lid. And again, this is with 1.25 inches. The next thing I'm going to do to the lid is a little finish sanding. I've marked the hole locations for where the rope handles are going to go. I've got a 3/4 inch spade bit here, and that's what we're going to drill these holes with. After we get the bigger stuff off with the angle grinder, I'll go to the finish sander again, the orbital sander. And this is 80 grit sandpaper on it. The next step is the rope handles, and we use manila rope. I think it's 1/2 inch, and I cut each handle to 24 inches. So we just put these in here and just do a single knot inside. We're finally ready for the finish, and we these days use mineral oil. It's actually a food grade. Give you an idea of what it just makes the blue stain pop a little bit more. This is the finished product. This coffin we made for a family in Colorado, and they're coming to pick it up in the morning.